We have the most shocking trade yet. Something that came completely out of left field. Nobody's seen this coming. LaMelo Ball has been traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He will team up with his fellow superstar, Anthony Edwards, and we now have the most exciting duo in the NBA, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, in a shocking trade. We got rumors last night, and I'm thinking it's just rumors. It's just whatever, kind of like the Jaylen Brown thing, or we've heard about dudes being traded all the time. But this was honestly, this is similar to the Luka Doncic trade, where you wake up and it's just like, whoa, they legitimately just traded this guy. Well, what?
Yep. I mean, that was a thief in the night trade when that happened.
This was a thief in the night trade too.
They've been trying to trade LaMelo for 2 years though. I think some of this is they've been having conversations on and off with the Wolves for a couple seasons. LaMelo, as I told a couple people last night, his value with the organization and the Hornets has never been super high. But that's several different reasons for that though. Like, he's still a really good player, and I know Chill, he had an All NBA caliber season, and when they were healthy, they were one of the best teams, maybe one of the 4 best teams in the NBA. Obviously had a very sad end to the year in the play-in versus Orlando, but LaMelo's a really talented player. But he does come with some challenges, and so I think the Hornets have always kind of been at this mind that, like, hey, we want to use him, we want to have him on our team, but at the same time, if we feel like we can, make an adjustment, they're more than willing to do it. And so them being able to get a power forward that they want in Naz Reid, getting tremendous assets in swaps, and then a couple actually first-round pick unprotected 2033. This is going to put Miles Bridges on the trade market as well for them to be able to make some adjustments with what they want. They obviously drafted Steinbach just 2 days ago in the draft, and I think he's their starting for the future. And then on top of that, with Con Canepo, with Brandon Miller, and then Mars's guy Moussa Diabate, they're going to also
Don't forget they probably drafted their starting point guard too, Christian Anderson.
Well, Kobe White's probably going to resign, and then Christian Anderson, to your point.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good move for them. But Ron, all the way up and down, bro, the Hornets, I think, are positioning themselves well for future flexibility. And they have a lot of cap space, and they have a lot of assets that if they want to make a real swing for this roster, they can, while developing their younger players. On the Wolves side, Shills, Damian, Mars, and Ron. LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, that's our core. Like, this is our core going forward for the future. And everything we do is going to be built around these 3. Rudy Gobert will be there for the rest of his prime, obviously. And I'm really glad they kept him. But now, obviously, they have a hole at the 4 spot. But look, we got LaMelo, we got Jaden, we got Ant, we got Ayo Dosunmu. Like, this is like, we have built out a very young 26, 27 and under group, and then we can just do whatever we want around them. I think this is a really good deal on top of Chill, them drafting Isaiah Evans last night as well. And then they also drafted Mars, the dude from the power forward. What's his name, Mars? Jefferson? Was that Jefferson?
Charlotte?
No, the Wolves. Would they draft Malik Jefferson? Is that who it was? In the first round?
No, that pick's going
Joshua
to Brooklyn.
Jefferson.
Yeah, Brooklyn. That's right. So Isaiah Evans are adding into the building. Yeah. But all the way around, man, I think this is it works for both teams. There's financial flexibility. You got star power in Minnesota. And then on the Charlotte side, they opened up some more room, and they have a $40 million TPE that is available, which is the largest in NBA history, which means, Chill, that if they made a trade for someone that's like Julius Randle, for instance, making $33 million a year. If they wanted to add Julius, they literally could just slot him right into the roster without giving up any player, because they don't have to do that, because now they have $40 million in room that they could use if they wanted to as well.
Absolutely.
Yo, this PC Ron here.
This is Chilltown Hoops.
Yo, this is Drench Man, not the French man.
Mars here.
This is Swiper.
Yo, this is Big Ox.
I want to start by showing love to everybody that rocks with PC.
We appreciate y'all, whether you catch every episode.
Catch the clips, jump in the chat, or just support from a distance.
We see all of it.
We put a lot into this, a lot of time, a lot of energy.
And a lot of love. And we do it because we really care about giving y'all dope content and building the best sports community out there.
But if we being real, the way we can keep growing this thing and make more content, have better productions, more live events, more PC weekends, more meetups, all of that stuff.
It's through memberships.
The support really helps us keep this thing moving.
So if PC has ever been a part of your day,
Helped you get through work.
Made you laugh.
Made you mad?
or just gave you somewhere to tap in with people who really love the game.
Go check out the memberships tiers and see which one works best for you.
We're here every day doing this.
And with y'all behind us,
We can keep taking this to another level.
tap into the membership.
And let's keep building this thing, baby. PC to the top with you. Let's do it.
Damian, I want to shout out Giannis. Giannis is the one who got this whole thing
Well,
started. Giannis doesn't get
yeah,
traded
well-
in Milwaukee. This is what we're doing right now. We're sitting on our hands and we waiting for the ball to drop with Giannis. None of this stuff happens. In fact, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they had inquired about Jaylen Brown. Well, the reason why they inquired about him, because the Giannis deal was already over. The Giannis deal was still going on. They weren't a part of that. So the fact that Giannis has now gotten traded, Giannis has now opened up the floodgates for now business to continue. I actually like this deal, and the reason why I like this deal is Minnesota has proven with Anthony Edwards, very much like with Milwaukee and Giannis, we are trying. We're not just going to sit on our hands and do nothing. We are trying to continuously put a unit around you that's viable, that could compete for a championship. I hear so many different times that this team didn't do enough for this team. The Minnesota team with Kevin Garnett, they didn't do enough for him. And I think that a lot of that had to do with them not having the draft flexibility at that time. But this Minnesota team, I feel like they're doing plenty for Anthony Edwards. They went and got Rudy. They traded for Rudy Gobert. They traded for Julius Randle. Now that window for this group has closed, right? That was a 2-year, I think that was a 2-year window with Julius Randle. They weren't released. They didn't want to pay Cat. In the process of not wanting to pay Cat, they got Julius for a cheaper rate. Let's see how far we can go with this group. They took them to the Western Conference Championship 2 years in a row. Okay, that's as far as we're going with this group. So we get off of Nas Reed, and now we bring in LaMelo Ball, and we got LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards under contract, Swiper, for 3 years. So we got a 3-year window with these guys, and there is no player out, by the way. This is a 3-year window that we have to win it. And remember, guys, Anthony Edwards has been in Minnesota since 2020, which means that we will have this for almost a decade. So they have almost a decade of Anthony Edwards where we can see how we can build a unit around him in order to win. And I think this is great for Anthony Edwards because now I can play off the basketball. Now I can be the 2 guard that I'm supposed to be. I can be the bucket getter that I'm supposed to be. I don't have to have the basketball in my hands. I'm not the primary ball handler. I'm not the primary distributor, the primary playmaker. I can now play off of an actual lead guard, a guy that's going to set me up and get me involved in the offense. On top of that, this drops Minnesota under the second apron with this money from LaMelo Ball. Because if I'm not mistaken, and Swiper, you're better at this than I am. I think that with this money, I think the first year of LaMelo Ball's money, I think he's making $41 million, which drops them $11 million under the second apron, which is good for them because I think that now I think they can continue to go shopping. So Minnesota is trying. Minnesota 100% is trying. I think that they've taken a reach because Mars, you know more about this kid, Christian Anderson, than I do. But it was obvious in Charlotte that they were over LaMelo Ball. It was obvious that they done with him. Before the season, 3 years, he's averaging 35 games a year. I think that they were done.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up Giannis chill, because Giannis, the rest of the league watches, right? And we watched, I think, Milwaukee wait a year too long to deal Giannis. And depending how you feel about the Heat package, a lot of people said it was too much. A lot of people said it wasn't that great anyway when you dive into it. I think that this was a rare instance where a team was being proactively aggressive on their star and you sell high. I think to Swiper's point, LaMelo stock's never been higher than right now. Just a year ago, we were questioning whether this can be a guy you win a championship with. And I know it's harsh given the season that the Hornets just had, but it's very clear that the front office have had these concerns as well, even with signing him to a max extension. So, I mean, for me personal, they're reasonable questions. I think, again, Swiper, to your point, there's urgency from the Timberwolves to keep Anthony Edwards and try and upgrade the star power. They understand what it means to lose him. They've seen KG leave and win. They've seen Kevin Love leave and win. They've seen Andrew Wiggins leave and win. They just saw Cat leave and win. They do not want to lose Anthony Edwards because they didn't do all they can, Chill, to upgrade the star power around him. And it's not every day a guard of, LaMelo Ball's caliber is available on the market, and you have to move quickly, and they did. And it's a massive haul for the Charlotte Hornets, but I think it's also good business from their front office to sell high when the stock's at its highest. So
when we live in a league with such parity, you can't sit on your hands. Even if there is Kobe and Shaq running around or Jordan and Pippen running around. You can't sit on your hands. But in this particular situation, with us having 8 different champions and us having so many different people in the conference championship, like the window is open for a bunch of different teams. Minnesota was in the Western Conference Finals 2 straight years, right? So we can't just sit on our hands and run it back or hope that this thing gets better. I'm an advocate of developing talent. I 100% can get with that. I don't want to just dump all my guys, but Minnesota is doing that. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, what are we in, around year 5 with him? Year 4 with him? Something like that?
Got to be 5. Yeah, 5.
I think it's maybe 7.
So we even further. So we're even further off. So they've developed Jaden McDaniels. They're developing Anthony Edwards, right? This kid Shannon, who they got. They're trying to turn him into a player. So I'm all for. I am all for development when it comes to your younger guys. But when there's a window, especially when you're in a small market and you have an opportunity to make moves, you have to do it. And the reason why you have to do it is because when that window closes, it's closed.
Damian, talk about what makes this pairing so dynamic.
It's great.
Well, I've been harping on this for a long time, like around needing to upgrade the star power around Anthony Edwards. I thought Julius Randle was excellent last year. He had a great series against the Lakers. Obviously, this year he struggled in the playoffs, but they just felt like, to Chill's point, like you're on the doorstep, you make the Western Conference Finals, but it's very clear that you don't have enough star power to really go all the way with this team. So I know there was rumors about Kyrie Irving. There was rumors about just someone in the backcourt that can be a very, very high-level creator, because guys like Jaden McDaniels can potentially become overburdened offensively. You're trying to maximize the hell out of guys like Naz Reid. You hope Rudy Gobert can give you something offensively and not just be, 4-on-5 out there. So LaMelo as like a ball handler, as someone who can run an offense, as someone who can play really good pick and roll with one of the best screeners now in the league as well, in Rudy Gobert. Someone as well, I think Anthony Edwards' evolution as like a 3-point, like a high volume 3-point shooter can help now, because you don't have as many concerns with him playing off the ball. I have a lot of concerns with them as a defensive backcourt duo, but offensively, I think they're gonna be really special, man.
Real talk and I had a conversation during the playoffs this year, and one of the things we talked about was Minnesota's offense being the most viable when Mike Conley was on the floor. Not when Ant was on the floor, it was when Mike Conley was on the floor, because now those guys can play. Now Jaden McDaniels can play off the ball. Ant can play off the ball. Now we got a floor leader. The offense seems much more stable with him, with that floor leader on the floor, with that distributor on the floor. I'm not a huge LaMelo Ball fan, but I can tell you what I am. He is a distributor. He can play make. He will get you the basketball in space where it's necessary. I've always liked that about LaMelo Ball. I can do without the shot selection sometimes. I think he pounds the basketball a little bit too much for me sometimes. But I tell you what he will do. He'll get into the teeth of the defense, and he'll get you open shots. He will get you good looks. And the fact that Anthony Edwards can now play off of somebody that dynamic, that could get to the rim, that could get into the lane, and that could get him open shots, I think you're going to see a much better Anthony Edwards, because this guy now can be more of a slasher. This guy now can be more of a catch and shoot 2-guard. This guy can be more. Now we could run offense for Ant, as opposed to Ant initiating offense. Like we could run pin downs. We could run curl cuts. We could run ISOs with Ant now that LaMelo Ball is on the floor, as opposed to before we putting the ball in Ant hands and Ant's got to operate off of Rudy Gobert. Ant's got to operate off Julius Randle. No, now we can run offense where we could get him in ISOs. And last but not least, LaMelo can knock down an open shot. Like I said, his shot selection isn't exactly my favorite, but he will knock down an open shot. He will keep you as a defense honest. Yes, he will. And he's a bucket getter too on top of that. So I think this is good from that aspect.
This is a match made in heaven. I'm not gonna lie. As far as the exact guard or point guard that Anthony Edwards needed, one thing that I'm very excited for when it comes to Anthony Edwards playing with LaMelo Ball and them re-signing Io as well. Hey, Ant, you're gonna have to play in transition this year, bud. You're gonna have to get out and run. And this is going to benefit you anyway, but this is something that he's just refused to do. But when LaMelo Ball is your point guard, you're going to have to run because he's going. He's pushing the tempo. If he gets the rebound, he's going. He's going to advance past the ball up the court as well. It's time to put your running shoes on, Ant, because hey, you want the ball, you got to run. But I also think that this will help Ant's efficiency because he'll get some more play in transition as well. Y'all said it. I mean, one thing I also think is they saw San Antonio play OKC, and they've noted their problems and struggles against OKC, which to me is Ant had way too much burden of ball handling in that particular matchup, even in the playoffs and even now last year when it was just Io there. Right, Dante DiVincenzo is not really a ball handler, and so I think they tasked him too much with that. And then you see like the multiple guard attack that San Antonio was able to do. And I think when you have multiple ball handlers against OKC, you're not overwhelming one particular player with that responsibility against that defense. So with LaMelo and Io, now you have multiple ball handlers who can run pick and roll, get into the teeth of the defense and make a rim read or make a kick out pass, right? I think that's very important. And then to your point, Chill, everybody is so concerned about what LaMelo is going to do for Ant, which is good. Absolutely. It's going to be great, fantastic. But LaMelo's never played with a player that attracts or draws this much defensive attention. And if you look at his percentages, you might think that LaMelo isn't the quality of shooter that he actually is. LaMelo Ball, when you generate quality threes for him, is a knockdown shooter. And I think potentially with playing alongside Anthony Edwards, he's going to be able to raise his efficiency as well. I think this is just a match made in heaven. You got Ant now who gets to operate more off ball, right? Play as a scorer, not many better in the league. You have a point guard who can knock down open shots, run pick and roll, make every pass out of pick and roll, and pushes the pace, something that you need in your starting unit because Ayo Dosunmu was the only player last year pushing pace for them, right? So now that's in the starting unit.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the chat throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.